Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where we help you win in your life. Specifically, winning with your money, winning in your work, and winning in your relationships. The phone number for you to get coached up today is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman, a Ramsey personality, and I'm joined by another Ramsey personality, the fabulous Jade Warshaw. Joins me this hour, and together we're going to help you. Jade is our money expert. I'll chime in if she decides to let me, maybe. Rachel yesterday let me say a few things. It's always exciting. And I'm the work guy. In other words, when Dave has said for decades that your income is your greatest wealth building tool, I want to help you win at work. When you're winning at work, you're making more money. When you're making more money, we get through the baby steps faster and live the life we want to live. So how can I help in those areas? We team up. Jade weighs in on that as well. And so let's get to it. Melanie's going to start us off in the Big Apple, New York City. Melanie, how can we help today?
Hi. Thank you all. Thank you guys all for that you do. Sorry, I'm really nervous. So
You're doing
I've listened
great.
to the show every day for the past 6 months, and I've paid off $10,000 in debt, cut
Nice.
off all the cards, sold stuff, do my side hustle, work overtime. I check the EveryDollar app every day. I'm on track to being debt-free by my 30th birthday this August, which is a huge goal and accomplishment for me.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I do have a paid-off Jeep that I've driven to the ground for the past 11 years. I've already put $2,000 into repairs since I started being Ramsey this October. The entire bottom carriage is rotting, and oil is leaking into the engine, which would cost thousands of dollars to fix, and it still wouldn't be guaranteed that more issues wouldn't come up.
True.
I'm so gung-ho with the baby steps, preach them to my friends and family. But now I'm faced with the decision to continue dumping money into this beater or taking out a car loan on a new-to-me car that will last me another 10 years.
No,
I'm
not car
so
loan.
close to finally
No, wait. Wait. Let's talk about these options before you keep going, because I don't want this to hang out in your mind a second longer. Your option is not to keep the Jeep or get a car note. That's not the options. The options are to keep the Jeep or to temporarily pause the baby steps, stack up some cash, and buy yourself a junker in cash. That's your options, right?
Those are definitely options that I keep on ruminating, but just logically and realistically, to go from this beater that I've already put so much money into to then going into another beater, just logically and realistically doesn't make sense to me.
Where do you live?
I live in North Jersey.
North Jersey. How far do you commute every day?
My commute's not far, but I do need a car to
I just
get
asked
around.
you, how far is your commute?
It's a 5-minute commute.
Wait a sec. Okay.
Okay, so I would like to throw that option back to Jade.
Where?
That's a legit option.
Yes. Here's the thing. I want you to see where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from, giving you the option, eliminating the option of debt, is I'm simply trying to honor all of the work that you just laid out that you've done. You laid out beautifully all the sacrifice you've made, how diligent you've been, how much you've done in order to get yourself to the place you are now. And I want to honor that by not saying yes to you going back into debt. And so that's where I'm coming from. Now, here's the thing. All vehicles are not created equal. And you may have had a lemon before. That doesn't mean your next car is going to be a lemon. I've only driven used cars with 100,000 plus miles on them. And recently I haven't had any lemons. So I don't want you to think that just because your car has now gotten too old to keep, that if you were to buy another used car in cash, that it would automatically be in that same time, that same kind of frame of vehicle. Does that make sense? And I get it. Like, it can be easy to think that, but it's simply not the case. So your Jeep right now, is it a Jeep Liberty, Jeep Wrangler? What kind of car is it? Because I used to have a Jeep Liberty, and that's not the car that you want to go the difference. It's a Liberty. That is, I'm just going to be honest. That car has a lot of special features. Like, that's not the car that you want to go the distance. I'm looking for, like, give me a Honda Civic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what's your locale? I'm going to pull up while she's talking. I'm going to pull up some used cars. I'm going to help you out. What would I put in? Used cars for sale under $5,000 in
Wayne,
New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wayne, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So we're going to help you look. This is Ken's specialty, but truly, like, we need like a Nissan, we need a Honda, like we need one of those brands. Those are the brands that are going to go the distance with mileage. The Jeep, unless it's a Wrangler, it's probably not going to cut it. So
well, first of all, I'm not knocking Jeep. You should never buy a high miles Jeep. They do not have a good record.
That's not the one.
Of course. My struggle, and I've also thought about this, of getting a $5,000 beater or whatever, I would still have to take out a personal loan, and that would be at a much higher interest rate as opposed to taking out a car loan.
Why do you feel like you have to take out a loan? Let's go through the numbers right quick. So you said you're going to be debt free by August. How much margin are you putting every single month onto your debt?
1,000 or more every month.
Closer to 2,000 or closer to 1,500?
1,500.
Okay. So if you're putting 1,500, what would it look like if we said, okay, this is an emergency. We're going to go in and we're going to save 2 months. We're going to temporarily pause the baby steps for 3 months and do 15,000 and then another 15,000. And we're going to put 4,500 onto this next car. What would that look like? And then you don't owe anybody anything. You're just buying you're driving a $4,500 car temporarily until you pay off your debt. That pushes your debt-free date from August, September, October to November or December. And that's just part of it. I don't want you to view that as some sort of a failure or some sort of a loss. Like these are the things that are part of walking the baby steps that most people encounter at some point. And it's not a negative step backwards. This is part of it. I mean, I did that. Yeah, we had to stop and buy another vehicle. And it's funny because we had a Jeep Liberty and that thing it didn't keep going for us.
So I'm just going to give you 3 options here, Melanie, real quick. Because by the way,
you guys anymore.
What's that?
Did you say you can't hear us anymore? Did we lose her?
I think she said I can't talk to you.
I can't hear you guys anymore.
Oh, no, she said she can't hear us. Okay.
Melanie, can you hear us?
We're going to have the guys in the booth are going to fix us.
Hello? Melanie? Nothing. Huh. Boy, that's a shame.
Well, let's see if they can.
While we're waiting, let me just pay this off, okay? That, Jade, you're right. So I punched in on cars.com, just one of the services. We got a 2012 Nissan Versa. I'm going to put her on hold until we figure it out. We got a 2012 Nissan Versa for $49.99. If you walk in with cash, I'll guarantee you can walk out of there with maybe get $3,800 on that. If I walked in with cash.
I don't think so. Ken, cash doesn't do what it used to do.
Why? Why you got to disagree with me?
I'm just saying they want you to finance.
Right,
I don't want to get her out of.
She's got cash, so $49.99. All right. We got a Buick Lucerne, $4,900. We've got a Pontiac G6 for $4,400. All of these less than 120,000 miles.
Go with that
Nissan. It's doable, and she could walk for 2 or 3 months. By the way, 5 minutes. Come on, where there's a will, there's a way. This is the Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to get up to 45% off. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. So excited that you are with us. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw joins me, and we are here for you. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. They want me to talk about the new book, and it is available for pre-sale. It's called Find the Work You're Wired to Do, and it has an assessment with it, the Get Clear assessment. So both of these tools work together. What does the assessment do? The assessment, it's right there on the screen. There you go. I don't have to do that. I don't have to show anybody. The assessment helps me answer the question, who am I? And what could I do? And then the book with it helps me figure out where I can do it and how. So these are important questions. Who am I? What do I want to do? Where can I do it? And how do I get there? And so the book takes about 45 minutes to read. It's a companion to the assessment results to have a professional purpose statement. So this is about self-awareness, which gives you confidence to do the thing you're wired to do, and that's where you have the chance to make the most money. So you can pre-order it right now, RamseySolutions.com/store. And I'm excited because when you pre-order it, we're not giving you a bunch of other stuff. You're going to get the ebook with an assessment code. You're going to get the audiobook with an assessment code and the hard copy with an assessment code. So 3 books, 3 codes, all one price. I think it's too good a deal, but I'm not in charge. I just do what they say. It's called Find the Work You're Wired to Do, and this is if you want to max out your income. So you can get it now. It comes out May 7th. You can pre-order it now wherever books are sold or RamseySolutions.com/store. All right, to Salt Lake City, Utah is where we're going next. Carson joins us. Carson, how can we help today?
Hi, I am a young realtor, and I was just curious on how do I make the most of my money to prepare me for my future?
How do you make the most of your money?
Yes, to
Okay.
prepare me for my future.
All right, Jade, take it away.
I think the crux of that is always going to start with a budget. Are you a budgeter? Do you have a budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you using our every dollar budget?
I am not currently, but I am about to get it.
Okay, I would. Matter of fact, we won't let you leave this call until you get it. With the every dollar budget is great. It helps you create daily habits, which is a big part of budgeting. A lot of people kind of set their budget and then forget about it. And it's like, well, I did my budget for the year, Ken. And they're not thinking about the fact that every month holds something different. Your goals are constantly changing. You're accomplishing goals. It's time to move on to the next. So every dollar will help you with that. So that's thing one is the budget. Thing two is the way you make the most of your money is you know where you're going with your money. You have a clear direction. And so the next point would be, okay, well, let's look at what our goals are. Where are we currently in this moment, and where do we need to get to? So let's talk a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about your finances. Do you have debt? Are you trying to buy a house? Tell us what you're trying to accomplish.
I'm debt-free, and I've just been trying to save up for a home in the future and any of my business expenses.
Okay. So first off, we want to keep the business expenses a little bit separate from the personal expenses. And so I would always advise that if you're, doing your small business or you're, contracting in that way. Do you have any money saved?
Yes, I do.
How much?
I have a few thousand.
Like 2,000 or 8,000?
Like 2,000.
Okay.
Just for personal savings, but then I have 5,000 set aside for an emergency fund.
Okay, so we've got $7,000 saved. Would you call that 3 or 6 months, or how many months of expenses is that for you?
6 months.
Okay, so let's group all that together. The way we would teach it is we save 3 to 6 months of expenses, and that is our emergency fund. We only touch it if there's an emergency. Tickets to Taylor Swift would not be considered an emergency.
Quick question. $7,000 equals 6 months of your expenses, Carson?
Yes, because I'm just a young kid, so it's just.
How old are you?
I just turned 19 the other day.
Okay, you're living at home?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That was
Just getting started.
I was like, okay, I want to make sure I understand the full range of this phone call. Okay, so you're starting out. Okay, very good. I'm sorry, Jade. You were.
No, keep digging. This is gold, Ken.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to explain the baby steps and all that, and you have, and the investing part of this, but that's, you stepping out and early on and learning the power of investing. And I know you love your investment calculator. I know you love to demo that.
I do.
think you need to set him free and show him what it could be.
Well,
because as a real estate professional, how much have you made so far as a real estate agent?
I'm about to close on my first deal.
Nice.
Very good.
So very first home. What do you stand to make on that house?
It should be upwards in the probably 20,000 to 50,000 because I sell ranches.
Come on, Carson.
That's awesome.
Come on, man. That's awesome stuff.
Okay, so
now play with that number, Jade.
All right, here. Listen,
20 to 50.
I'm going to dig a little bit because I want to know more. So, you start doing real estate. You got you closed your first deal. Was this like you went out and grinded and got you got the offer? Was this family that was like, hey, we're selling this land. Let's use cousin because he's trying to start out. Tell us more about this deal and tell us if you feel like you've got a lot of irons in the fire.
This is just from my broker mentoring me and helping me, and so I was just able to hop in it and just, kind of had a burning desire and just went and grinded to find some deals, and they helped me along the way.
That's awesome. So with any type of profession that's got the irregular income, it is important, that on the business side of things, that you're keeping that money separate. You're making sure that your business has savings. You're making sure that you personally have savings and figuring out early on, okay, what does it cost me to do business on a monthly basis? What does it cost me to advertise, to print out flyers, to drive people around town? All of those things, I want you to start keeping track of what it costs you because those are your business expenses and you need to keep some of that money in your business in order to make it run, right? And then on the other side, you can start looking at, okay, how much of this do I get to pay myself? How much am I keeping? And because it is irregular, I love having almost, aside from your 3 to 6 months, I love in an irregular income just having almost an extra month's worth. It's almost like you're a month ahead all of the time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. And I would start investing now. So let's say that he makes 40,000. Let's split the difference. You said between 20 and 50. So let's call it 35,000, Jade.
Okay.
So walking through, based on what you just said, what he would do, a sample if he clears 35,000.
Okay, so let's say you clear 35,000. Let's say that you are taking out your taxes, so you need to make sure that you're, estimating your quarterly amounts. And so what I would say is 25 to 30% of what you make, always set it aside for taxes. So that's thing one. Then after that, you can look at it and go, okay, what am I paying myself out of this? And let's say you pay yourself 15,000, right? And now you're going, okay, I need to invest 15% of my income. That's your income. Investing 15%, you can work with one of our SmartVestor pros, but essentially that's what you're doing. If you don't have Carson, set up where you can invest, whether it's, you could start with a Roth IRA, but eventually you're going to want to do something through your business, whether it's a SEP or a simple 401k, something like that, where you're able to really take advantage of all that you could be contributing on a yearly basis, just as if you worked for, a company that was offering you a retirement plan. So that's what we're looking to do. That's what Ken is getting at. So every time you sell a house, every time you get paid, you are taking out your quarterly estimates because, you're an independent contractor. You're paying yourself, and then you're paying 15%. You're contributing 15% to investing. And that's the step you're in. If you ever get to the point where you say, you know what, I am ready to move out on my own. I'm ready to purchase a property of my own, and it's time for me to save for a down payment. Then if you wanted to, you could pause that 15% that you're investing and put all of your, financial efforts to saving your down payment, especially if you think that it's going to take you more than, if you can do it quickly. If it's going to take you more than 2 years, I probably wouldn't pause it. But that's what we're looking at. He's got a lot to focus on. And it's
very exciting. 19, closing on his first ranch. And I got to tell you, I like this ranch business. That could get really good if you look at his growth over the next 10, 15 years, kind of money he's going to be able to make. Great job. Thank you so much, Carson, for the call. We're excited about your future. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back. She's Jade Warshaw. I'm Ken Coleman. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, Ramsey Solutions started small and grew fast. Because of that rapid growth, there were times when our systems slowed us down. That's why we switched to NetSuite. It works for us and it'll help your business too. Whether you're starting on a card table like I did, or you're well on your way to becoming a multi-million-dollar company, NetSuite can scale with you and help you communicate and plan better. Because you know your day-to-day up and down and sideways, but accounting, analytics, and supply chain are on another level. So maybe you're just not tech savvy. That can be okay. NetSuite will help at your speed and whatever your situation. More than 37,000 companies use NetSuite to know their numbers and their business better. So check out NetSuite today and find out how they can help you become the business you want to be 5 or 30 years from now. And right now, you can download NetSuite's free KPI checklist designed to give you consistently excellent performance at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me, and we are here for you. 888-825-5225, taking your money questions and your work-related questions. You're a professional, and if you're not winning or you're looking to maybe switch gears, start something, we'll take those questions as well today. All right, Jennifer is going to join us now in Trenton, New Jersey. Jennifer, how can we help?
Hi, Jade. Hi, Ken. So my husband and I are kind of in disagreement about the 15 versus 30-year mortgage. He feels that if we just throw the same amount at it, then 30 years is fine, but we're not obligated by that higher payment because it is a higher payment for less amount of time.
Right.
I'm all Ramsey in. Let's go, 15.
And how long has this discussion been happening?
Well, it probably at least a month. We're looking at buying a new home. We currently are in a home, and we're going to sell it and then purchase a new home. So that's where the talk has come from, because I'm just like, I really just want to bang it out as quick as possible.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So obviously, if you have a 15-year mortgage, the mortgage is higher, like you're paying more per month, which in many cases could cause you to have to get a less expensive house so that you can afford it. Is that playing any role in this? Or are you saying no matter what, here's the house we want, or here's what we want to spend? The only caveat is whether we do it on a 15-year or a 30. I'm just curious. Is it that your husband wants more house for the money?
So we have a realistic house amount that we're not going to go over.
Okay.
For our income. So I think we can afford it, the 15-year, because like I said, it's like $350. We're trying to stay at $350.
Okay.
$350,000. And I don't think it would be that much higher. I think he's thinking like he wants to be able to take vacations and do this, that, and the other.
Got it.
Which we'll still be able to do that. We'll just have less play money.
Well, I think that here's the first parameter. And I mean, I'm going to give you my opinion on this, but the first parameter that you guys have to agree with is that the mortgage is going to be no more than 25% of your take-home pay after taxes. That's the first thing. And if you do that, then you will have money for the other things, saving for vacations and having a good time and having a good life. It's when you creep beyond the 25-30% range that it starts to get tighter and tighter and tighter. And then it's like, oh my goodness. So that's the first thing to agree on. The second part of this that I would say is you guys have to be aligned on what your goals are for your life, because here's what I know. The people, if you say to yourself, we want to pay off this house, and if we have a 15-year mortgage, we're going to do that faster. It's just baked in, right? It's 15 years less. Then why would you say, well, we'll get a 30-year and treat it like a 15-year? Then you're already saying, I plan to not do this. Like, I plan to give myself the freedom to say no some months and not pay that extra payment. And the moment you do that is the moment when you start slip sliding. And before you know it, you've been paying for a house for 30 years.
Right.
I agree with you.
Well, the issue here, though, is you're saying things like, I think, we should. And I think this needs to be more of a conversation with real numbers. Like, you guys need to get down and get spreadsheeted out. Or if you write it down, that's the way you guys do it. But you have got to cast vision for him because he's just not comfortable. You've already, I think, really nailed what's going on. He wants some more margin. You're going, I don't need as much margin as he does. So this is a relationship issue, not a money issue. And we got to solve the relationship part. Then the money will take care of itself. So you guys got to sit down and run these numbers out as best you can with the 15-year and the 30 and begin to walk through the stuff that he wants margin for. The stuff that you don't care about, he cares about. And so that's where this comes down to. And so you two getting on the same page as to this is how it's going to affect our life. This will be our reality if we do a 15-year, and him getting comfortable with that, that's where you've got to get him. And you're not going to convince him. You're going to have to walk with him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
How old are you guys?
It does. So I am 47 and he is 60.
Okay. This is the argument right here. Does he want to be paying off a home when he's 90?
No.
I didn't think so. And I know you don't want to be paying off a home when you're 77.
That's not good enough argument.
But if
he's worried about margin.
He's worried about margin, but that if he's worried about margin, like I said, the first thing is the 25%. And that's where you've got to go and do your homework and find out if we do this same deal at a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, will that make what percentage of our take home is that going to make our payment? Because to Ken's point, you haven't been able to say yes or no on that. And so if he's concerned with margin, my guess is that the 15-year would take you over that amount. That's my guess. I don't know for sure, but just based off of some of what you've said. So that's thing one. But then thing two is, okay, now let's meet in the middle and go, okay, that means we need to find a less expensive house because I don't know the rest of the picture. I mean, I could dig a little deeper. It might be a can of worms, but do you guys have other debt?
No, that's why I think he thinks the 30 years fine, because we paid off $60,000 worth of debt in 17 months. We were gazelle intent. We have no debt.
Okay, that's
why
awesome.
Why are you selling the current house and buying something else?
It's too big.
Okay, it's too big. So how much are you going to make on the sale of that house?
Hopefully $400,000.
So you're buying.
Wait a second. You said you were going to pay you were going to stay in the 350 range. If you're going to make 400, why not pay cash?
Oh, we totally could.
Well, then why are we having the last 5-minute conversation? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not trying to be unkind, but
just saying.
We would have said immediately, there is no 15-year, 30-year conversation. If you walk away with 400 after you pay your realtor's fee, you probably are darn close to having the exact amount to pay it off. And then you guys then you're really vacationing. What are we missing, Stephanie?
I still owe on the current mortgage.
No, but Jay just asked you, what will you walk away with in the sale of the current house?
Okay, I misunderstood.
That's okay.
Okay, so we currently owe about $180.
Okay.
So
and it's
if we sold it for $400.
Okay.
Well, that's $220 gross.
Right.
And then we got to pay the realtor.
Yeah.
So you still have a massive down payment.
Right.
Yeah. So I think you're fine. Let's say you put $180 down on this next house. That's almost half.
Okay.
So if you run the numbers on a 15-year on that amount of money?
That would be very affordable. I still think he's like...
But here's the problem. You're operating in assumptions. This entire call has been assumption-based. And we're not getting on you. We're coaching you to say... you've got to sit down and actually on a computer go, all right, let's look at whatever the 350 minus 180 is. I'm not that good at math that quick, but we put that number in, the difference, and we see what the current 15-year mortgage rate is, and it will spit out a number for you. And then you sit down with your husband and go, hey, babe, a 15-year mortgage on this balance is this much per month. You got to be dealing in reality, not concepts. And right now, I love that you're all in on Ramsey. But until you start putting real numbers next to our theories and our philosophies, he's not going to get on board.
Listen, I'm going to try to type it in for you right now.
I was hoping you were doing that. I was stalling with my lecture.
Keep stalling. Listen, you're putting 51% down. 15-year fixed. Let's say the rate is, this is saying 6.5. I feel like it's going to be closer to 7. So I'm going to change that. So this is saying that if you were to do this, and it's estimating some taxes and insurance in here, it's saying that your total would be $2,000, $2,074 a month. So only you know what percentage of your take-home pay that is. Okay, it's estimating $321 for property taxes, $125 for home insurance. And by the way, I'm on RamseySolutions.com using the home payment mortgage calculator. So that's all I'm doing. You need to get clear, as Ken Coleman would say.
Yes.
And get these numbers. This is what you're presenting
help
because
the hubs get clear.
You do not want to retire with a home payment, okay? And I know you know that, but the key is making your husband understand that.
Stephanie, thanks for the call. Do what we tell you to do. It's going to be a much easier conversation. This is The Ramsey Show.
Your home is probably the biggest purchase you'll ever make. And with the real estate market like it is now, you'll need a mortgage company you can trust. That's Churchill Mortgage. You guys, buying a home is not a button push. It's a process. It takes building a relationship with an expert who will dig into the details and give you peace of mind without busting your budget. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country. And they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Go to ChurchillMortgage.com to get started.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Glad you're with us today. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw joins me. Phone number is 888-825-5225. Let's go to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Bo is there. Bo, how can we help?
Hey, guys. So my family owns a construction company. We do earth moving, and I just graduated last year, and I did one semester of school, and I'm just so, I dropped out, and I'm just so torn on going back to school or just keep doing working. So I didn't know what y'all thought about that.
Sure. What made you drop out?
I don't know. I kind of just sat down with my mom and dad, and they kind of just didn't think I would really need the degree. I was doing civil engineering, so it was pretty difficult for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so mom and dad were in support. We all kind of sat down and said, maybe it's not for me. And you agreed, they agreed? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, my dad owns the company, so he was more like, you don't really need the degree. And I think mom was kind of more play it safe, go to school. But I kind of just listened to my dad, to be honest.
Right. Now, is the plan at this point, and you're only 19, is the plan to work for the company and eventually take over, or just you've got a job now and we're going to see how it plays out?
Yeah, the plan would eventually be for me to take over the company, maybe 4 or 5 years down the road.
Well, then I would not get any education that is not tied to something that will specifically make you better at running your family company one day. And so if you and dad both come to the conclusion that you don't need a degree at a traditional school and you just need the school of hard knocks and your dad teaching you and bringing you along, then no, I would never darken the door of college at all in this scenario. And by the way, my general philosophy is when people ask me this is, I think it's two questions on the degree or no degree. The Shakespeare thing? Is this the question, right? That's the question. So is a degree the only way to do what I want to do, or is a degree the best way to do what I want to do? And it feels like a really hard no for both of those questions for you. So it's consistent with what I've said for anybody in any field.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I was kind of torn because I kind of eventually want to get into developing land. And so what I was studying was a civil engineer degree, and that would give me the ability to basically make plans where I could eventually develop the land into a subdivision or, commercial homes, stuff
sure.
like that.
Well, wasn't that what you were pursuing and it was too hard?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he really just wanted me to, because he's been doing it for 40, 50 years, and I think he kind of just wants to take a lesser role and give it to me.
I understand, but you're kind of, looks like you're flip-flopping on me on the phone here. So it was like, hey, I sat down and talked to Dad. It was hard. I didn't like it. We agreed I didn't need it. Now you're going, well, I was leaning towards it. So I think you can learn how to develop land without ever going to a classroom and getting a civil engineering degree. I think that. I think you know that.
Yeah.
So has your dad done it?
No, he went to school. He didn't finish. His dad was the one who started the company,
Sure.
and he got sick, and he had to come back
Do you
home
guys
and take over
know
the company.
people locally that develop land?
Yeah, and that was basically the other thing. I was just would just buy the piece of land and basically contract out the civil engineering part.
But isn't it possible, Bo, at the young age that you're at, that you can begin to hang out with and spend time with these friends of your dad or friends of your family that are really successful developers? And couldn't you pick up a lot of information from them over time?
Yeah, you're correct.
So I just don't think school is the play for you. But here's the great news. If that changes and the answers to those questions become yes, then go back. But right now, you need to learn how to run this business. And the best way for you to learn how to run this business is to be working with Dad day in and day out. And I don't want to ever throw some potential negative thing out there, but the bottom line is none of us are promised tomorrow. And so if I was in your shoes and I was the eventual owner, I would not waste any time. I'd be learning everything I could. I'd become a human sponge around your dad. You're going to develop your own management style. You're going to develop your own systems. And now's the best time to learn. So no, I wouldn't go back to school now. Make sense?
Okay.
All right,
Yes, sir.
man.
Thank you so
Yeah, I
much.
appreciate the call. So good. Stephanie is now joining us in Atlanta, Georgia. Stephanie, how can we help?
Hey there. My husband wants to retire next year and has talked about pulling out of his 401k to pay off our house.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. How old's your husband?
He is just turned 60.
Okay, how old are you?
I will be 44 next month.
Okay. And do you guys combine is your money combined? Yes?
Yeah, I mean, we split expenses. We keep separate accounts, but yeah, his money's my money. My money's his.
Okay, I'm going with you on that. So you're saying he wants to pull from your collective retirement and pay off the mortgage. So can you tell me collectively how much money you guys have in your nest egg at this point?
I was trying to get a number from him. I think it's probably about $500,000 combined in 401ks.
Any other money?
We have a rainy day fund that's at about 6 months of living expenses.
Okay, so you got your emergency fund. And how much will it take to pay off the mortgage?
$130.
$130. Okay, so essentially my thought here is this is going to double in 7 years. So if he never touched it, it would be $1 million in 7 years. He'd be 67 and you'd be 52, 53. And so, and if he pays 180 towards his mortgage, same thing's going to take place. You said 180? Sorry.
130.
130
mortgage.
Okay. So I think what he's trying to do, and you can correct me, I think what he's trying to do is clear all debt so that he can kind of be at peace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Then my next question is, before, I'm not saying yes or no yet, I'm just trying to get the information. So then my next question is, are you going to continue to work? And if so, what's your income?
I will continue to work, and I make about $100K a year with a notable bonus in August.
Okay. So you're going to continue working. What will his retirement, tell me about that. Is he military? Is it just this 401k? Tell me more about his retirement and what he's going to draw.
He will pull a pension.
Okay.
And if he takes the full pension, that's $900 a month, approximately, I believe. And he will do something, whether it be working at Home Depot or he'll get a job for a while until he starts collecting Social Security. And I don't know what that amount is.
Okay. So I feel like looking at the numbers and looking at what you talked about, I don't think that he has to do this. I think that if you guys buckle down, you can have this paid off in the next 2 to 3 years if you guys go crazy. If you say that, hey, he's getting this 900, I'm working, I get 100K plus bonuses, plus he's going to be doing something, I got to believe that between all of that, you guys can find, I don't know, almost $200,000. How much are your bonuses?
It ranges between 5 and 7%.
Okay. So is that fair enough? Think about that.
It could be a lifestyle change, but I mean,
How much of a lifestyle change?
Option.
Because
we like to travel.
Yeah, but what's your mortgage payment?
$1,200.
And so how much would you guys put extra into that, Jade? What's the number you're suggesting they put over and above that?
Well, I think it's up to them because this is about intentionality.
Well, if he's working at Home Depot, I mean, what do you think he's going to pull?
Oh, I don't know, but he's been putting a extra $200 to $400 in it, I believe, for the past several months.
$200 to $400 in what?
Into the mortgage to try and pay it off early. So we're already starting to do that.
Yeah, but it's not all of a sudden this big pinch. My point is, if he's working plus he's pulling a pension, it's not like it's going to be. What's his current income?
I believe he's around 70.
So
Okay.
Let's look at it like this. Can you guys live off of your income?
Yes.
Okay. So if he says, I'm not doing the job I was doing, so I'm essentially retiring from that job, but I'm going to make it a point to make $43,000 a year. If he does that, you can pay, and we take all of his money and throw it at the mortgage, You'll be done in 3 years.
Yeah. And you're working. So it's not like you guys are traveling all the time. You only get so much vacation. I think you guys are saving up for the vacation. You're doing that. And to Jade's point, you're piling everything on the house. Here's the deal. That 401k, as Jade said, is going to double, and he's only 60. Then you got Social Security. If you wait until 70, I would just sit on that. I would not use it to pay off the house. We're both in agreement on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And you're going to win big. So good stuff. Good hour, Jade Warshaw. Thank you very much. James Childs, our fearless leader, and the merry band of people behind the glass that keep us on the air. Thank you. This is The Ramsey Show.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you win in your life. We want you to win in your money, win at work, and win with your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. That's 888-825-5225. Jade Warshaw is with me. I'm Ken Coleman, and we are together for you this hour. Jade will lead off on your money questions, and I'm here to help you at work, and you're winning with your income. How do I make more income? I want to get promoted. I want to start something. I'm here to help with those questions because we want you to increase that income. Let's go to Hayden, who starts us off this hour in Denver, Colorado. Hayden, how can we help?
Hey guys, so I'm 18 right now. I'm attending a state college. I'm racking up about $40,000 in student loans a year. I've always wanted to be a veterinarian, which would be another $250,000 student debt.
Wow.
So I have about $500,000 in student loans at the end of this. I've started changing my thinking towards opening up my own dog grooming business. Startup cost would be about $40,000. I could maybe make up to $50,000 a year. I was wondering what you guys would think about me dropping out.
Well, I got no, I'm not your dad, but I would drop out once I knew if I should drop out. And so just because we feel a pivot going away from veterinarian, I'd want to walk through all the different options. I think you've got a love of pets. That's probably driving this veterinarian choice. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's for sure.
And then now you went, man, I'm staring at that mountain of debt, which, by the way, just a quick commentary, Jade, it just pisses me off for this young man, for him. That's the barrier to get in to be a vet. It's a racket. Yeah. It's an absolute racket, and it's sad. It's really sad. But we won't. That's a whole separate phone call. So you started thinking, all right, what else can I do with animals? And the dog grooming thing has presented itself. Why is it $40,000 in the startup cost? What are you paying $40,000 for to be a dog groomer?
It would be supplies, maybe a van to drive around and do it in, just overall bills and stuff.
Yeah. Can I suggest that you do two things in the near future before you drop out? Number one, I want you to actually go spend some time, coffee or lunch with, I'd like to see 2 dog groomers at minimum, and dog groomers that aren't starving. Right. And I mean this. Dog groomers who have some margin and they're making enough money, and you can, by asking just questions, how much do you pay yourself? What are your revenues? Somebody will share that with you. And I would do some homework on that. I'd want to talk to a minimum of 2 and learn everything there is about the actual business. That's the homework assignment 1. Homework assignment 2 is to actually dig into with them and just kind of looking at the one ads. What kind of basic qualifications do you need to get hired as an actual dog groomer? You may not believe this or not, Jade, but we take our beloved dog, our golden doodle, Ellis. You know how fabulously handsome he is. We take him to PetSmart. It's not some fancy place.
Yeah.
And they do a great job. Give him a little shampoo, give him a little trim, and he's a handsome fella. And so I would start going, what's the barrier for entry just to become a dog groomer and learn the skill of actually dog grooming, test it out. Do I like this? Would I want to do this in the long term? Because I would want you to get paid by somebody else to do it before you ever launch your own business. And for heaven's sakes, buying a van, that you may end up living in down by the river if the grooming doesn't work out.
Look, I saw a groomer the other day in his van. Somehow the dog had got loose, and he was chasing the dog through the neighborhood trying to get whoever's pet back. Yeah. My contribution to this conversation is probably take it for what you will, but I almost wonder if there's a way, because just because you can't be a veterinarian right now doesn't mean sometime down the line you can't pay your way through this education. So to Ken's point, I'm wondering, you're shadowing these groomers, and maybe you decide, yes, I love being a dog groomer, and you on down the line you start that business and you start making some money, and it's in your mind that a percentage of what I make, it goes into my veterinarian fund and my education fund. It's just because your dream is deferred doesn't mean that it has to be completely denied. And so I do want to put that out there. And you're just being smart right now and realizing I can't afford this right now. It doesn't mean that it can never happen.
Yeah, I love that. Hayden, questions about that?
No, for sure. That was some great advice.
Yeah. Go get paid, man. Go get paid to groom dogs or work with animals. Hey, here's the other thing. One other homework assignment. You live in the Denver, Colorado area. A lot of outdoor animals opportunities. I'd be looking at just what are some other things that I never thought of where I could make decent money. Maybe you could make, and I'm making this up, Hayden, but maybe you can make north of $20 an hour taking care of horses on a ranch.
Yes.
Just get in the animal game. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of different ways to make money at your age, by the way, because entry level is wide open. They need people. And I'd get in the game of just helping animals, caring for animals, and just learn a lot, stack cash, to Jade's point, because maybe you look up 10 years from now and you found another way that's not $250,000. And by the way, on that point too, while I'm adding things,
add more, Ken.
Dig in. Are you telling me, Hayden, and I don't know, is every veterinarian school in this great country $250,000?
I'm gonna do some Google right now.
Oh, I love when you get on the Google. I do. What do you know, Hayden? Is every veterinarian school that expensive?
Very near to that.
What a racket.
Yeah. No, it's
What a racket.
yeah.
That's a shame, man. 250 grand. Well, here's the deal. Do the math on how long it would take you to save up 250 grand realistically. Run some different numbers. And I do like the idea of, where there's a will, there's a way. And, 10 years from now, maybe you got all that cash stacked up. But in the meantime, we've already given you advice on what we would do. Jade, I got to tell you, I'm going to go on a mini rant here, and I'd love for you to weigh in.
Do it.
Do you think, because I know you have no problem shooting me straight, do you think that I might be right that it is a racket that they're charging that much? Does it really cost these veterinarian schools or colleges, does it really cost them that much that they have to charge $250,000 to train someone? I don't buy that for a second.
I think these folks just care about profit.
I think so too. That's it. They know that, because animal lovers are some special people with big hearts. I think they're ripping people off.
100% they are. Okay.
What did you find?
So we're going through the top 10 cheapest vet schools. Number 10, Virginia Maryland Regional College. Resident 4-year tuition, $100,629. Number 9, Texas A&M. Resident 4-year tuition, $929. So it might require him moving, getting a residence.
So they are less than $250.
Yeah, they're out there.
Still
you just got to
rip-off.
live in the right place, live there to get your residency,
All right. Well, that's a lot more doable, Hayden.
Washington State University, $102,000.
Does it get any cheaper than that?
University of Illinois, $97,000.
Oh, we're getting cheaper as we go. I like it. I thought there might be some options. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, it's Rachel Cruz here to tell you about a faith-based alternative to health insurance that can make healthcare more affordable. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM allows members to share each other's healthcare costs, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, choose the healthcare provider you want. Step 2, submit your eligible bills. And step 3, get reimbursed. CHM members take care of your eligible medical bills. With no networks and the freedom to choose your healthcare provider, CHM is the best option for Christians who want to take care of their families and help other believers. Find out more at chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back, America. You are listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me, and the phone number is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Today's question of the day comes from Jeff in Pennsylvania. I'm 32, and my girlfriend and I are expecting our first child, looking forward to a wedding next year. Financially, we're in a good position, but I've fallen out of love with my career. I have about $60,000 in savings and $190,000 in stocks and IRA. My only debt is $138K on the house, and my girlfriend has $25K in student loans. My current salary is $200,000 a year, but I'm miserable and burned out with the baby on the way. Leaving work and taking a pay cut is terrifying for me. I feel like I need to take a few weeks or months to let my mind heal and get back to feeling like myself, but can I afford to do so? A lot going on here, Jade. I would take a couple of weeks or maybe a full week to kind of get clear. I don't think your mind will necessarily heal in that amount of time, depending on what's going on with this burnout. But I do think it's hard to make a decision like this to make a large pivot when you're burned out. It's like you've got to get if it's 2 days, 3 days, or a full week, Jade, I'd like to see him get to a place where he can fully identify what's causing the burnout. So couple of questions, is it stress? If it's stress, what's causing the stress, or who's causing the stress? How much of it is his he has some control over versus he doesn't have any control. So we've got to dig into what's going on with the burnout. I think the answer is he's fallen out of love, because I actually agree with that. I mean, that's really at the heart of what I teach. I think that one of the causes of burnout is no juice, no passion for the work. So if that's the case, we've got to figure out first, Jade, well, what do I love and what's it going to take to get there? We got a baby on the way. And we got an income. And so I want him to sit still and say, all right, I'm grateful for the money I make now. We got to switch our mindset.
Yes.
I'm grateful for what I have.
Yes.
I now know, okay, I just don't love the work. So before I even make any moves, we want to make a strategic move to something that I do love. And we got to figure out, A, what that is, B, what does it take to get qualified if I'm not qualified, how much that's going to cost, and how long that will take.
Yes.
And that takes some maturity, but that's how we bridge that change. But right now we got a baby on the way and there's some financial stuff there, so we don't want interruption in income. So I would say, no, he cannot afford to.
Yeah, not yet. Otherwise, he's running from something without running to something. And I think that's a very dangerous position, because you're kind of desperate at that point. You're acting out of desperation. I would love, and I'm just going to throw this out here for us to come back later, but what do you think makes somebody lose their juiciness? Like when you enter something, you're excited to be there, and what makes that go away?
Well, it's a good question. So assuming you had it initially. So let's say at some point you loved the work.
Yeah.
We see this a lot with teachers that'll call my show. So what changed for them is they didn't lose, in this case, the juice for instructing. They still love teaching and instructing. They just don't like where they're doing it because the environment is toxic. So you can absolutely love the work you do, but hate the place that you do it.
Ooh.
And that creates confusion, because what happens is, and I'm glad you asked me this, you keep going into a place that is unhealthy and you love the work, eventually the unhealthiness makes you question the love.
Yeah.
But you never lost the love of the work. You just can't even focus on the love.
You can't see the forest for the tree at that point.
Because it sucks so bad to be there. And I think if I had that love initially. Now, a lot of times people think they had love for it and it was just like. And you got to, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, if we take it back to relationships,
it's the idea of it that they like.
100%. Or they really like this person, but when things happen and when the rubber meets the road, and you're kind of like, I don't like them so much right now. If you don't love them, you won't stay.
That's so
weird. But there are a lot of days where I know, I'm only speaking for Stacy, but where Stacy does not like me. A lot of days.
No comment.
Well, no, you know it's true.
I do know it's true.
It's almost 26 years. You don't get here without love.
I know that's right.
Because there are a lot of days where there's not like.
That's a fact. Come on and talk about real things,
I'm
King
trying
Coleman.
to keep it real.
You are. You are.
Now, I've never not liked Stacy. I've loved her every day. I just want to put that out there.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
There it is. I'm so glad you said that. Oh, I tried to get through that. I tried to navigate that. Did I do okay?
You did good. You're right. The point is, you can be infatuated with work. And then when, like you said, when the real stuff starts hitting, it's like you make that choice, just like in marriage. I am choosing every day to love this person, right? And that's a good analogy, Ken.
Yeah, that's just real. And by the way, in the work, and we'll wrap this up. In the workplace, you've got to be okay saying, I never really loved this. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. But a lot of people will stay in a role, in a career that is sucking the life right out of them.
Yeah, because they invested time and money.
And they're afraid to say, hey, I chose a college, I chose a major, I chose this company, and I've been lying to myself for a decade or longer. And that's okay to say, look, it's not for me. Life is too short to not do work you love. So,
listen, luckily God works all these things together for the good of those who love
So from
Christ.
one marriage thing to another, how about this one? Daryl's got a question. I feel like we're going to stay in this area. Daryl in Lubbock, Texas, what's going on? How can we help?
Oh, pretty good. How are y'all?
We're doing well. What's happening today?
Oh, nothing. I was just got a question. How do I get my wife to be on board with the baby steps, and how do I approach it?
Oh, man, that is such a loaded question. We get it all the time. So tell me, let's diagnose this a little bit. Have you talked to her at all about the baby steps? And if so, tell us how she reacted.
She she says she gets annoyed and rolls her eyes and walks off.
Wow. The roll, the eyes, and the walk off, Jade.
And okay, have you been able to identify which part of it is getting stuck in her craw? Is it the budgeting part? Is it the we have to pause investing to pay off the debt part? Like, do you know which part of it really just grinds her gears?
It's mostly just, I'm trying to pay off debt, and then, long story short, I take care of my niece and nephew, and it's just really overwhelming. And I know I'm always on the road for a month or 2 months at a time, so I know she's single parent, and it's overwhelming for her. And so when I talk about this when I'm on the road, she doesn't want to talk about money, period.
So she thinks that if you guys go down this path, a lot of the bulk of the responsibility is going to fall on her because you're off on the road. You got the niece and nephew. That's also part of the mix. And she's just like, I don't want to put anything else on my plate. Does that cover it?
Basically.
Okay. Listen, I can sympathize with that. I think right here we're talking about right now all this is to her is you having heard something on the radio or you having heard something on a podcast and you're running back and telling her, I found this thing and I think we ought to do it. And she's like, oh my gosh, like we already have
I
this
think you
and
nailed
that
it.
and
you know
that.
what it is? It's one more hard thing. And she's going, bro, I can't do one more hard thing.
Yeah, I feel that.
She's trying to keep her nose above water, it feels like.
Does that sound right?
Pretty much. I know Dave always says don't shove it down her throat, but I don't try to shove it down her throat. I say, hey, like this morning, I have, what is it called, mortgage life insurance on my house, and Dave doesn't recommend having that. So I'm like, hey, when I get back home, I'm gonna cancel that. And she's just like,
well, that's a problem. That's a problem.
It.
She sees that's security. Whenever you say the word insurance, mortgage, all of those are security things. And when you run home and like, honey, I'm gonna cancel it. She's like, what? Like you're canceling it. Maybe lead out with, hey, I learned that the insurance that we have is super expensive and there's a cheaper one out there. Here's what it is. You show it to her and you explain, hey, if we do this term life policy, it's going to be a lot better and da-da-da-da-da. And then I'm going to put this in place. And once that's in place, we can let the other one go. So a lot of this is how you talk about it.
Yeah.
And we're going to make sure that you get set up with Financial Peace University. You and your wife do this together. And that way, Daryl, you're not the one having to deliver all the news. Dave and the personalities will do it for you.
Jade, what do you think? Can we get them a session with one of our financial coaches as our gift, just to let that coach kind of be that middle person?
I love it.
All right, so let's give them a financial coaching session as well. That's going to really help kind of ease you in with your wife on this. But you're a good man. Hang in there. Take it slow. She's got a lot going on. This is The Ramsey Show.
You know, it doesn't take a degree in statistics to realize that this one stinks. 93% of undergraduate private student loans are co-signed. So when you're delinquent and drowning in private student loan debt, mom or dad or Uncle Joe is stuck in that financial stress along with you. But there is a way out. Why Refi? Why Refi offers a custom refinancing option with a fixed rate loan based on your ability to pay. And the average interest rate Why Refi offers is 3.9%, which can significantly reduce your monthly payment and decrease your total cost. Why Refi refinances your defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch. And I trust them to help you get out of debt. So don't be another statistic in the student loan swamp. Contact Why Refi at 844-2-RAMSEY or go to whyrefi.com/Ramsey. That's 844-2-RAMSEY or the letter Y, then REFY.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman and Jade Warshaw helping you through this hour. 888-825-5225. 225 888 5225. Michelle is joining us now in Jacksonville, Florida. Michelle, how can we help?
Well, I have an adult son who's in a situation where he has a house with his girlfriend, and they have a good interest rate and a really good payment, and they broke up, and so she wants him to refinance the house in his name, and he has bad credit. I put $40,000 down on the house for them, and he wants me to either help him to get the house by co-signing for it or for me just to buy it outright, and then he rents from me. But I've been helping him his whole life, and he's like 35, and I just don't know. I'm a widow, and I don't know when to say. I guess he has a history of mental illness and of substance abuse, so I'm kind of
You're scared.
guilty feeling like I should. Yes, I'm scared.
No,
He finally got a good job, really good job, but he can't manage his money.
Yeah.
Well,
don't buy this house for him.
Do not put yourself in this situation. But I understand you're scared, but I think this is the moment where he's looking to you for direction anyway. If he's got a really good job, you're just going to have to sit down with him and be okay to let him know that why you're not doing it and what his real options are. And the two of these two young people are on the, well, they're not even that young, for heaven's sakes. They're on the home. Both of their names are on the home.
Both of their names are on the deed, but only his girlfriend's name is on the loan. So she's suing him to force him to refinance the house or move out. And he doesn't have the credit to refinance it.
Well, then it's a really clear decision. He moves out.
Yeah.
He moves out.
He said, yeah, I'm just so scared this is his only chance in life to own a house. It might be his one chance.
No.
Of course it's not.
What is the evidence that this is the only time he could ever own a home?
Well, he makes about $60,000 a year, and they each pay half of the mortgage payment, so they each pay $750. And he says he can't afford child support. They have a child together. He can't afford a mortgage payment. He can't afford a new car. His car is about to die on the side of the road. He wants me to co-sign for a car, too.
No.
Credit card is maxed, no money in savings. But I don't want him to be homeless and on the side of the road with no car. And I just have fears. And my husband died, so he's not here to allay my fears.
Well, there's so many other options, though. You're choosing options that put burden on you. And you called because, quite frankly, you're exhausted at the idea of doing this. The very idea of doing this is exhausting, and it's probably equal parts scary. And the only reason you're even considering this and not saying hard pass immediately is because you're worried about your boy. He's had a lot of struggles, and you feel like, but I got to tell you, I think this is a blessing in disguise. He's got a new job, a good paying job. Sounds like there might be some growth opportunity. They break up.
Yeah.
He needs to get out of this house because it's the only shot he's got to be able to afford the child support, because he didn't have any shot on that. The judge is going to decide that.
But he says that rent is higher than his mortgage payment.
Not if he's sharing. No, not if he's renting with one or two other guys that are single. And believe me, there's plenty of those in Jacksonville, Florida. This is where you can mama him in the sense of showing him adult options and saying one of the options that you don't have is me. So here are the other options.
Yeah. He's even down to saying he can't afford to move the stuff out of his house or afford a rental, like a storage unit.
No, I wish he was on the phone, because this guy needs a good sip of grown-up juice.
Did you say that you put the $40,000 down for this house that the girlfriend basically has the right of ownership to?
Well, they each have a 50-50 ownership share, and he was living at my house in the basement, paying no rent, and he had trashed my basement because he was on substances at that time. So I honestly just wanted him out, and for my peace of mind, I put down $40,000. Yeah, and it was in 2022.
Then you're not getting that money back.
Affordable payment. Yeah. No, and that's why he held that over my head and said, "I hate to see you lose your $40,000. Let's refinance this together."
Now he's pissing me off. I felt a little bad for him, but now this is a kid who's manipulating you, and you know why he's doing it?
No.
Because it works.
Yeah, it always has worked. I operate on guilt a lot.
Today's the day.
Yeah.
35-year-old boy needs to understand it's time to be a 35-year-old man, and the best way he's going to do that is you have to look at him and go, and by the way, I'd be okay being really raw and sharing your emotion. Share with him why you've done this in the past because of guilt. And now you've got to own this and go, I can't do it anymore. I can't. It's not good for me, and it's not good for you. And I know deep down you don't want me to hurt me. I don't know, Jade. I don't have anything but tough love here. What do you?
I have nothing but tough love. I'm holding my tongue. My son is young, and you're further along in life than I am. And so there's part of me that just wants to wallop this dude. But I also understand that there's, there's motherly love here. And so I get that. I can understand that there's this pull that you probably have to want to get involved. But I also feel like you can't. Like, you got to just let this guy do what he's going to do, and all you can do is pray and
You know what he needs, Michelle? I'm gonna tell you the one thing I think you can and should do in this situation. We've already told you what not to do. I think he needs belief from Mama, not help.
That's good, Kim.
That is probably something I've never really offered. That's true, because I'm always operating on fear and guilt. So,
And by the way, you have, and listen to me, Michelle, I say this with a father's heart, and I say this from my own experience. He needs belief. No more help.
Yeah.
You need to sit down with him and tell him what he should do and show him that he can do it. And then you need to walk away. And you need to be his
Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. I think you need to be his number one cheerleader.
I love that, Ken. Oh, that's so good. It's so good. It's tough.
It's so hard because we want to help our kids. My goodness. I mean, it's just so hard. I get it. I truly get it.
Yeah.
But at this point, I mean, and that's the rub, right? He's 35. He's not a boy.
I honestly think when it comes to this house, I think they just need to sell it.
I was going to
get whatever the profit is, give it back to Mama. She's the one that put the money down to begin with.
I was going to ask you that, but see, you get the girlfriend involved and her name's on it. So she gets all the dough.
She's on it. They need to get a lawyer involved. This is what happened.
He's broke.
This is what, but Mama does. Mama's already, if she wants her money back, if she cares anything, she might not care. She might be like, I wash my hands of this situation, I'm out.
Yeah.
But if she's like, man, I'd love to get my $40,000 back. I'd love to, talk to somebody to see how this happens. I
just don't want her racking up $10,000 in legal fees. And that doesn't take long. But I like what you're saying. But I think this is the get out of jail free card for this guy. I wish we had him on the phone and say, I know you guys broke up and that sucks. I know you got a kid.
But the girlfriend's going to want his name off the deed. I'm not exactly sure what the process for that, the best process for that would be.
This is a chance for him to start over.
Yeah.
Meaning he's already got the breakup.
100%.
He's got a good job.
Yeah.
But I don't buy this rent is so expensive. He's manipulating there.
He's manipulating.
He's got child support coming, staring him in the face, Jay.
He's got a lot. He needs to make more than $60,000, and he's just got to get his life together.
Yeah, he's got to grow up.
My guy's got. He's got a lot to get together.
Jade, I'm going to give it to you. We got about a minute and a half. I think this is a great time for new listeners and viewers that come in all the time. I want you to tell them why this call is Exhibit A on why we shouldn't buy a house with somebody we're not married to. Go ahead.
Because there's no clear rights. Like I said, with this, it's like, okay, both their names on the deed, one name's on the title, Mom put the money down. Like, there's such a tangled web here, and it's going to take a lot to untangle. That's why I said, if I was Mom and I wanted to see about this, it's like, now you got to involve a lawyer in a different sort of way. There's no clear division of assets. And so this is just what is known as a hot, steaming pile, Ken. That's what this is. And so it's not good.
Don't play house.
Don't play. I haven't heard that in a long time.
That's what this is.
I know, but that's how I know your dad's a preacher.
Oh, 100%. 100%. That's true. It's true. I can't get it. You can take the preacher's kid out of the church, but you can take the church out of the preacher's kid, right?
You can't.
But that's what happened here. We love each other. Let's go in and do this house.
Yeah.
And now look at it.
You know what? They would benefit from some counseling too. They really would. The two of them, Mom and son together, Mom on her own.
I just saw flashes of a reality show where you're coming in and telling these two, get your all stuff fixed and just love each other and get married and not get this nonsense over with.
I'm not a counselor, but I can send them to better help, and they can help them out.
I think you could be a matchmaker.
You think I could?
Sit down and be quiet. Let Jade fix this.
Act like you got some home training.
This is the Ramsey Show.
Statistics show that half of Americans don't have enough life insurance. or they don't have any at all. I don't understand this, John. Why don't people want to take care of their family? They think they're going to die or something?
Well, I used to be one of those guys. I didn't even think about it. And one of my buddies said, hey, the only reason to not have life insurance is if you hate your wife and kids. And I immediately went and got term life insurance.
That's a gut punch.
And, you're telling me, and for decades, Dave, I've sat across people who've lost a spouse. They've lost somebody important to them.
Me too.
They don't know what to do next.
Me too. I mean, you're going to have a crisis here. And, you got two options while you're sitting and talking to a young widow. She's concerned about how she's going to invest all this money properly and not mess this up, or she's concerned how she's going to eat tomorrow.
That's exactly
These are the
right.
two options.
And
take care of your dadgum family, man.
Term life insurance can replace income, pay off debts, cover funeral expenses, so your family can actually have the opportunity to just be sad.
Yeah.
To just miss you.
That's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's saying I love you to your family. Term life insurance. Jeff Zander and the team at Zander Insurance makes it easy and affordable. I've used them personally for 25 years. They're the only people I trust. Go to Zander.com or call 800-356-4282.
All right, are you in the baby step 4 range? Really close to finishing baby step 3, or you're in baby step 4? Maybe you're past that, but you'd like to just learn from Dave Ramsey himself on how he invests, then you're going to love this new event. It's coming up. It's called Dave Ramsey's Investing Essentials. At this event, Dave's going to do a deep dive into his investing strategy and for the first time ever, share his personal playbook, including how he buys real estate. So I know this is always a hot topic, Jade, on TikTok and Instagram, all these people giving how to buy real estate and get rich. Dave does it very differently, and he's going to be sharing that. This is a 2-night virtual event happening May 21 and 22. And you can watch it anywhere you've got a device or a computer. You'll learn how to maximize your 401k and mutual funds, Dave's personal strategy, as I mentioned, for real estate, and then investing trends to follow and which ones to avoid. It's a $249 ticket. You can sign up at RamseySolutions.com/events. That's RamseySolutions.com/events. It's Dave Ramsey's Investing Essentials. And I think our buddy George Camel's going to have a cameo as well.
That's right.
A camel cameo, I like to call it. So that's always an extra bonus. All right, let's go to Birmingham, Alabama, where Catherine is waiting for us. Catherine, how can we help today?
Hey, good afternoon. So I just had a quick question for you guys. My husband and I are anticipating a good quantity of inheritance to come in a few months or so, possibly. But we just want to have a plan for this money if it does come through. And so we're currently in the middle of baby step 4. So my husband is investing 10% in retirement. And I'm working on getting my 401k set up right now with my newer workplace. So, we're debt free. We have our large emergency fund saved up. But our question is, would y'all recommend throwing 100% of this cash toward our mortgage, which is about, I guess we owe maybe $260 at this point, $275. I know that's bad. I don't know the exact number. But would you guys throw it 100% of the mortgage, or would y'all recommend investing in the home itself to do some addition in the attic space? So adding a bedroom, adding a bathroom. We currently live in a 3-bed, 2-bath. So, our home's worth about $340,000, but we're looking at, a large return on our investment if we were to add that bedroom and add that additional bathroom.
How much money do you think that is coming your way? And I also want to know, you said it may or may not, so I want to know more.
So it's contingent on, it's a family property that my in-laws own, and it's potentially about to be purchased. And if if the home gets purchased, then it gets split between the grandkids, which I'm married to one of. And so it would be between $20,000 and $30,000 is what we're expected to receive. So, yeah, so that would be about what we would be looking at if the home's sold, and we just want to have a plan if it does. We don't want to get this chunk of cash and not have a plan.
100%. I like that way of thinking. Yeah, baby steps wise, you said baby step 4. Obviously, I want you to be at the point where you're investing 15%, not 10. And then, 4, 5, and 6, it's simultaneous. And so, I do want you being intentional about putting extra towards the mortgage, kids' college. But it's not to say that every windfall you get, all of it must go on the mortgage. You can look at this and go, okay, what's a fair split here? Do we want to put half of it on the mortgage, and do we want to use half to do some additions? Is it enough? If we do half, is it enough to complete the addition? Do we only want to put 10% of this on the mortgage? And so you guys have some freedom here. How much is it going to cost to do what you say you want to do to the house?
I haven't gotten estimates yet, but my dad works in construction, and so he's familiar, with roundabout pricing, and he's like, I really feel like you can, your attic space is already, suitable to finish out, so he thinks that it can be done for, around 20 to 30 for what we're wanting.
So it would take all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. If you're already putting, let's say you called and you said, Jade, listen, we're investing 15%. We pay, an extra mortgage payment every month, or we pay, whatever, X amount of dollars extra to our mortgage every month. And we're getting this extra $30,000. We've been wanting to do this addition. It's the perfect amount of money. I would not be mad at that. I would love to see that you're putting some additional regularly towards your mortgage, or you have a rhythm, whether it's once a quarter, whatever your rhythm is that you're paying extra towards your mortgage. I'd love to see that you're doing that as a caveat to just dumping this whole thing on it, dumping the whole thing into additions.
Okay, yeah.
So that's me, but don't lose sleep over it. I'm not going to come haunt you if you don't. On this, I'm not going to come haunt you. There's some things I will show up in your dreams, but not on this one.
I like that. The ghost of Jade.
Don't take out a HELOC.
Man, I'm a little scared. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little scared. Justin is up next in Rochester, New York. Justin, how can we help?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So the point that I'm at is, I went through divorce a couple years ago, and things are still doing pretty good financially, but I'm very concerned with just that everything ends up on my shoulders, and I have 2 young girls that I have shared custody of, and I want to keep everything, great for them, keep the house over their head. So I have money in like cash and savings, but I'm worried that I'm just keeping like too much of it liquid, and I'm afraid to do anything with it, and I don't feel like I have good quality of life because I'm sitting on this cash, and I'm like, I think I need to get this stuff out and working for me. But I'm just concerned too, because as I look at my finances, over like long term, that like I don't see it growing as much as I want it to, and I'm just nervous to like put this money out there to work for me, and I'm really opposed to the idea of like borrowing against like home equity and things like that. But
How old
I
are
have
you?
a lot of resources. I'm 42.
Okay.
We've got about 2 minutes, so we're going to ask really fast questions so that Jade can give you some advice here. Do you have any debt at all?
Just a mortgage.
Just the mortgage. How much cash have you stacked?
I got about $84K in cash, like not investments, just like in checking and savings.
Are you investing anything like a 401k or anything up to this point?
Yeah, I have about $200K in a 401k, $21K in a Roth.
Is it a rhythm though? Is it a regular rhythm like you're doing? What percentage a month?
So I think right now my 401k is at 7%, and the reason for that is because I got HCE capped. I think the HCE cap, that's a highly compensated employee cap, where they basically just said, hey, you can't put any more in your 401k. We're knocking you down to 7%. So, I mean, that was around the time that I went 140K.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm right around like the threshold. So like every year, like I have to wonder, like, am I going to get HCE capped again?
Right. But
so
what you called because you feel like this 80,000 you've put away, it's just all fear because you got the 2 girls and you're just being safe. You're a good dad, and you'd like to do more with that 80 grand. Is that right?
Yeah. I think I'm probably doing the wrong thing by having it sit there. So I don't know if I try to like start bump in my 401k or put like a bulk against it, I think it's wrong for me to sit on that money.
I would agree with that to a certain extent. We would suggest having 3 to 6 months of expenses. It saved. So for you, what's 6 months of expenses? Because for you, I would do 6 months. You've got 2 girls, single dad. What's 6 months of expenses for you?
Probably at least $30K, I would say.
Okay.
Right. So
So
you got
we're going to
50.
make to the other 54. And if you're getting capped, you've got your 401k over there with your business. You can do 7%. That's great. You should also be doing a Roth IRA. So I want to make sure that we're getting you at least to 15%, whether it's a mix of your 401k, Roth IRA, and even if you go over to a brokerage or an HSA, those are all really good places for you to go, one after another. And then as far as this 54,000 is concerned, I would get with a SmartVestor Pro, because when you're out in the market, then you've got a lot of different funds that you can choose from, and they're going to help you know which funds are best. But yeah, get it into a brokerage, get it somewhere where it is gaining a return for you, because sitting in your checking account, that ain't it.
No, love it. Good stuff, Jade. Thanks again for the call. Justin, you're a good dad. You're a good dude. You're doing really well. All right, that's going to do it for this hour. Thank you, Jade Warshaw. Thanks to James Childs and our team for keeping us on the air. This is your show, America. This is The Ramsey Show.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you win in your life, specifically with your money, in your work, and with your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. It's toll free. We'd love for you to jump in and talk with Jade Warshaw and me, I should say, proper grammar, and me, Ken Coleman. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Jackson, Mississippi to kick this hour off. Angie is there. Angie, how can we help?
Hey, how are y'all doing?
We are having a blast. What's going on with you today?
So my husband and I are trying to figure out if we should pay off our mortgage. I'm 36 and he's 37, and we just started trying to have a baby last month, and so we're not really sure, it could happen soon. It could take a while since I'm a little older. It's in God's hands. So we don't know if we should go ahead and pay the mortgage off now, or if we should keep the money that we have in our non-retirement account and save it for, like, the baby, and if we run into any potential issues having conceiving.
So, what do you have in your non-retirement? Like, what money do you have saved beyond your emergency fund?
So in a non-retirement investments, we have about $22,000 or about $23,000. And the amount we owe on our house is $32,800.
Wow.
And so if we took the investments out and put that towards the house, we could probably have the house paid off, I would say, in about 2 months.
Okay.
But if we did not take the investments out, it would probably take us 8 to 10 months to pay it off.
Okay. So
right now we're throwing... Or go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, you're 36, 37. I was pregnant at that age as well. My question for you is, have you been given any reason? Has anybody told you that there's a reason to believe that you might have trouble conceiving?
No.
Okay. Then I'm going
I've heard that, like, when you're older that you might have issues, or it might take longer, or...
But no one has said, because of this reason, you could have fertility issues. No one has said that to you.
No.
Okay. Then I'm operating as though you are a healthy female and everything is looking good, and you have no reason to believe that this is going to be a problem. You're just out here like anybody else trying to start a family. And so if there's no other debt, if you've got 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, if you guys are currently investing 15%, and this is non-retirement savings above and beyond your emergency fund, I'm totally fine with you guys taking this money and being mortgage debt free in the next 2 months. I think that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
That's what we're looking forward to. And I think, too, the money that we're putting towards the mortgage, we could stockpile, afterwards as well.
100%. So fast.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you paying right now towards your mortgage?
The mortgage is $1,500, but we're throwing an extra $2,000 to $2,500.
Oh, man. You're going to stack that up in no time. An extra $2,500 a month plus, whatever else you have laying around. Yeah, you're going to stack that up in no time. That's exciting. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would y'all happen to have a question, time for a question on career?
Let's get it.
If not, that's fine too.
Sure, go ahead. What are we going to say? No?
Currently, I'm a project manager for an engineering firm, and it can be quite demanding and stressful. And I've kind of lost my, love for it, and it's just a struggle kind of going to work every day. And so I don't know, as we start building a family, if this is something that I want to continue doing. I make very, good money, and we're able to get to a point right now, we're about to pay off the house.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to figure out, do I stick with it right now and just till baby comes and just keep saving and then potentially look into making a shift, or
is it the work? Is it the work, or is it the place?
It's not the place. And I love working with clients, with project teams, and the interaction. I like learning. It's just the deadline-driven demands, and just
Okay. So this is fun. Let's keep going on this. So what would you remove from your day-to-day if we could just for fun go, all right, I have the power to remove this type of work, and then I would be really, really at peace and be really fulfilled and happy. Would it be just the deadlines, or is there other things?
I would say mainly the deadlines and maybe customer demands, and that's probably the most of it. If I could take away, having to deal with budgets and schedule, then I think I would love still working with project teams, building people up.
Okay. So I have a suggestion.
Working.
Do you think you're fairly valued with your current leadership? If Jade and I came to your place of work and you weren't there, and we said, hey, what do you guys think of Angie? What do you think they'd tell us?
I think I'm valued. I mean, they tell me a lot that I'm one of the key people that they want to try to keep and build up in leadership and things like that.
So here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to suggest that you go in and you basically tell them in your way, and you're very sweet and you're very kind. I just don't think you come across as entitled at all. You just seem so grounded. And I would say, hey, here's where I'm at. We want to try it. We just started trying for a baby. And I want to be here. I'm very much considering working, if this is true. But while you don't know when the baby's going to come, and you said that earlier, and you're right. But I think it would be to your advantage physically in trying to have a baby if you didn't have this extra stress. And we just know this is a fact. This isn't my opinion. The stress has all kinds of effects on the body. There's already desire to be a mom, and that's a pressure that's kind of on you guys in this season. So I would try to remove the pressure by sitting down and saying, hey, is there a way to remove this and this from my role and me focus more on this stuff over here? Is that possible? Would you be willing to sit with me and try to figure out a way to remove some of this stuff off my plate? I'll pick up some of the other customer stuff if it's not so much the high demand pressure situation. I think it's worth having a conversation. I don't think they're going to kick you out of the office and make you leave if you just have that conversation. Do you?
No, I don't think they will. I just think with the line of business and what we do, like contracting, engineering firm, that
it may not be possible.
You're right.
Okay, great. So then that's good information. So here's the deal. So the question is, can you find a project management role that's more suited to you? And what would it hurt to kick the tires and be looking right now? To your point, you may not get pregnant for a year. You may not get pregnant for 2 years. We don't know. And so to the extent that you can remove some stress in that part of your life, I would recommend it. So it hurts you not at all to look, Angie. And you know what you're looking for. You and I just went through the little quick exercise. You know what the perfect job description is, or at least a much better job description than the current one you have. Go look for it. Project managers are in high demand, and if you can get a better setting, I would absolutely make the move while you're trying. And let's remove that extra stress. I think that's a great move. I would not, though, make that move and sacrifice much income at all, because that income is really great right now. So let's see if we can find something that's a better fit for you emotionally and mentally. Why not? That's a win-win situation. Hey, we're excited for you. Hoping baby comes soon. You guys are crushing it. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Jade Warshaw and Ken Coleman with you this hour, 888-825-5225. So excited that you're with us. And I don't know if you know this or not, folks, but April is National Financial Literacy Month. And of course, that's a big deal to us. Because the entire month of April, teachers and students in classrooms across America are taking time to talk about the importance of good money management. And to celebrate, we've got one of our Rockstar Foundations in Personal Finance. That's a curriculum that we have created here at Ramsey and is in schools all across the nation. And so we've got one of the teachers who teaches it, and Chris is joining us today. This is exciting. He is at Katy High School in Katy, Texas. Chris, how are you?
And it's she. I'm doing great.
I
How are you doing,
apologize.
Jake? That's okay.
I guess I should read my
both ways.
notes. That's on me. It's okay. It's, I saw the Chris, so sorry about that. I'm so glad you're with us. So tell us how long you've been at Katy High School.
I've been at Katy High School about 8 years now.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. And how long have you been teaching the Foundations in Personal Finance?
I have been teaching it for about 15 years now.
It's really cool. What grades are your students in?
9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Very, very cool. That's
11th,
the older kids. So
are they open to it?
That's what I
what's
wanna
their
know.
attitude in this day and age?
Well, I would say the ones that are working have really plugged into it right away. But I have a lot of students that don't work. But I think the information is still good for them, because anyone that I talk to and tell them what I teach, they're like, I wish I had had that class when I was going to high school. So I think the seed is being planted, and they're at least getting the information, before they actually get a job. But the ones that have a job, the most exciting thing to me is that they tell me, Miss Davis, my savings account's a lot bigger now,
Nice.
And they ask questions about how they can invest. And so it's just exciting to see that they are getting this before they start their lives and their careers.
So where do you find, there's always a little bit of pushback area. Like, where do you find is where they have the hardest time getting their head around? Is it, this debt concept? Tell us more. Like, what are the points that they embrace and the points that they're like, I don't know, Miss Katy, you might need to go a little deeper for us.
I think the budgeting, I think for them, the budgeting is foreign to them. And I keep stressing to them that if it's in your budget, you can put in your budget that you're going to spend money, but you always need to have that savings component and have it mapped out so that just like Dave says, where every dollar's going.
That's right.
And that, I think, is probably the hardest thing for them to do.
So you've been teaching this curriculum for 15 years, you told us. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And 8 where you are currently. I'm curious if any former students, if you've stayed in touch, or maybe they've come back by the school or schools that you've taught them in and shared how they're doing financially and how much your instruction through this course has played a role in that. I'm curious if you got any fun stories.
Yeah. In fact, I ran into a student at a local restaurant. He's like, I don't know if you remember me, but I had you. And he mentioned the high school that we used to be at, because I was at another high school before. And he just said, I'll never be able to thank you enough for teaching me that, you have to save your money and you don't need a credit card. So that was nice, because, again, they're getting bombarded with you need a credit card and you need a credit score. And so just teaching them that, no, you don't need a credit card and you don't need to worry about a credit score if you do things right.
That's good. I would imagine a lot of the students probably are taking the information home too, right? They're taking it home to their parents even. And do you hear anything about that? Well,
in fact, this one young man, he had told me that his dad and he were going to get an house, and they were going to rent it out. So they were going to start with rental property. And he was asking me, about, what I thought about that. I thought, that's a great idea. I said, that's, income that you're going to start earning. And, him and his dad were going to be working on it together. But basically, the main question I get at this age is, how do I invest? Where do I start? And how do I start saving? And they want to start, the ones that are really interested want to start right now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just as an educator who's actually been on the front lines with this particular curriculum, I just want to know what your thoughts are that we're seeing so many states now adopting our curriculum, and it's being required for high school students. It feels like this is something that we should have been teaching for a long, long time. What do you think about the value of this in general?
Well, and that's one of the reasons I enjoy teaching it, because I feel like, I've taught different subjects throughout the years, and, you always tell them you're going to need to know this, you're going to need to know this, but this is I can honestly say that this is going to make a huge impact in your life, learning this now.
So true. And I love history, Jade. Yeah. Okay. But Chris, I got to tell you, I've always loved history, but I can't remember everything I learned in history class, but this stuff, you don't forget this stuff because it's just a part of your everyday life.
It's not the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can't even spell that, much less remember what it was.
And I've taught math, and I would tell them, "Oh, you're going to need to know this," knowing that no, they really weren't.
But this time it's for real. This time's for real.
This time's for real.
Well, Chris, you are a rock star, and you really represent so many teachers across the country that care deeply. And I know it's getting tougher and tougher to be a teacher. And I know it's hard, and the environment's not always the best. And so love the fact that you've been teaching as long as you have, and certainly we're grateful that you're a part of this movement in teaching our foundations in personal finance. So on behalf of Jade and I and our entire team, we want you to know we really appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate y'all. Like I said, this has just been a blessing, and to be able to teach this to my students and make a difference in their life. And I may not see it right now, but I know down the road that seed has been planted.
That's right.
That's so good.
Well, thank you for being with us. We know you got a lot going on, and I want to mention for any teachers that are listening, and quite frankly, anybody that knows a teacher, if you're listening right now, be sure to let them know about our Ramsey Teacher Appreciation Giveaway. This is sponsored by Ramsey Education, and one teacher who enters will win a $5,000 vacation, and two more teachers will each win a $3,000 vacation. Ooh. So all you got to do is go to RamseySolutions.com/teacher. That's our main website, RamseySolutions.com/teacher to enter. And so again, if you're a teacher, please do this. And if you know a teacher, tell them about it, because what a fun thing this is. And again, a $5,000 vacation. These are men and women who are, let's just be honest, underpaid. They are so invaluable. They are instructing the greatest resource this country has, and that's our next generation. So please spread the word and check that out. It's always fun to do this. Do you have a teacher? I just always love when we get to talk to these teachers, because I always think of my favorite teachers, the ones that I would want to go back to and say, hey, you know what? You really made an impact in my life. You got a favorite teacher?
Let me think about this. So Mr. Walling.
Or a coach.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were the same idea.
Miss Grogan was my volleyball coach in middle school and high school.
Okay. Miss Grogan, she was great. Have you stayed in touch with her?
Not really. Sorry. Don't look at me like that.
You know what? I apologize to you if you felt there was any judgment. That was not my point.
I felt a little bit.
No, but can I tell you this? I was a little surprised because you went on to play at the next level. I'm surprised you haven't done a drop-in on Miss Grogan.
They did a drop-in on me. They came to a couple of the games, which was cool. She brought the team, which was pretty great.
Why was she one of your favorites?
She just was really great. She had a good balance of love and like toughness. You know what I mean? Like she really just, I don't know. She's a good great human being.
But you knew she was tough because she cared about you.
Yeah, she cared for us. And she was a great coach. I enjoyed playing for her. And then my, Lewis Walling was my theater and show choir teacher. And so he was the first person that introduced me to Broadway. And so I remember we listened to Les Mis in his class, and I was like, this is amazing.
Did you ever perform in Les Mis? Did you do a production of it at school?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't. But it was the first time that I didn't grow up with Broadway, so that was my first introduction to that. And I was like, this is really cool.
Very fun. Love
yeah.
that. Gotta love the music teachers, by the way.
Yeah.
So great. I love it.
And then Mr. Crawford was the first person who ever mentioned investing.
Mr. Crawford.
Yeah, he was a music teacher, but he told us all about if we invested, what
he
we could
introduced
have.
you to Broadway and investing.
Yeah, well, this is a different guy.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up. I was going to mention a
judging
few.
you, Ken.
I was going to mention a few, but Jay took up all the time, so I can't
sorry.
even share
Next
my
segment.
teachers. No, hey, we love you, teachers. Fun stuff. All right, quick break. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. If you need help budgeting, you need our budgeting app, Every Dollar. It helps you manage money the Ramsey way. Every Dollar works wherever and however you need it to, iOS, Android, or online. You can start Every Dollar for free if you'd like to right now, and it'll help you figure out, hey, where am I? Where is my money? Where is it going? Get organized, personalize your budget, and stop overspending so you can save. If you're brand new to Every Dollar, we'll show you a long-term financial roadmap, track your net worth, debt-free date, retirement date, baby step progress, and so much more. You can download the free app for iOS and Android, or go to everydollar.com. Ken Coleman, Jade Warshaw with you this hour, 888-825-5225. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is where we're going now, and Will is there. Will, how can we help?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good. What's up?
So, as a 23-year-old who's been working for about a year now, is it one, realistic, and two, is it wise to be able to pay for a wedding and then also afford a house within the next year?
Well, it depends on your income.
Yeah, we got to
If
know
it's
some
realistic.
numbers.
Yeah.
So tell us.
So gross, I'm at about $55,000, net around $36,000.
Okay.
I have about $40,000 in student loans, just under $40,000. I've already paid off about $20,000 of that.
Okay.
No car payment. I have a company vehicle, so no gas or car payment.
Okay. Anything else?
I just got engaged this past weekend. My fiance, she gross is about $60,000, and net, I'd say $35,000 to $40,000.
Did you pay cash for the ring?
Yes.
Great. So when you guys get together, she'll be making $60,000. When you guys get married, she'll be making $60,000. You'll be netting $36,000. You've got $40,000 in student loans. Does she have any other debt?
No.
Okay, so no debt from her. So the question you asked is, within a year, is it realistic for you to, basically within the year, you would have to pay off the $40,000 of debt, save up 3 to 6 months of expenses, save up a down payment to be able to get the house, and you're cash flowing a wedding. There's a few more variables. Is anybody else helping pay for the wedding? Is there family involved or anything like that?
Her parents are paying a little bit, yes.
How much is the wedding budget?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say between 20 and 30. I'd say 25,000.
Okay, and if you say they're paying a little bit, what have you guys determined that is?
I'd say around 10,000.
Okay, so you guys are on the hook for 15,000 for the wedding.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. I think that the first thing here is we've got to map this out. I'm not gonna lie, just looking at these numbers right off the bat, I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah, me too.
Simply because you're netting 36,000 and your student loans alone are 40,000. So that math automatically doesn't math. And so your fiance is not going to reach over and pay your student loans until you guys are married. So that's out of the question. The only other piece of this is just putting your priorities in order and just saying, okay, what needs to happen first? First things first, when is the wedding? And then that's going to we back out of it from there and say, okay, have you guys set a date?
Yeah, May 17th of 2025.
2025, May. So now we back out of that and go, okay, if we're aiming to spend $15,000 on that wedding, how much do we have to save each month in order to make that happen? Because a lot of the stuff you're paying for up front, so you got to get going on this right now. So that would be priority number one. And then priority number two would be, and if I have extra money, I'm throwing it extra to pay off my debt. So I think those are the two things that you focus on, because honestly, buying a house, even if you didn't have this debt, and even if you told me the wedding was going to be fully funded by parents, I would still tell you, you don't need to buy a house within the first year of marriage. You just need to chill out, get to know each other, rent, or do that sort of thing. So I kind of want to lift that off your shoulders, Ken.
I couldn't agree more. I wouldn't add anything. Jade's right. Just take your time. There's this big rush, and I understand it's cultural. You think everybody's doing it. But man, just learning how to be married is hard enough. And figuring out maybe where you guys want to live, enjoy the stress, a stress-free environment of just renting and not having to take care of anything except each other. Yeah. I like that. Just relax and stack some cash. Okay. And you guys are so young, and you're going to be okay. You're not. Here's the point: you're not wasting any time at all. I love that advice. Ricky is in Stamford, Connecticut. Ricky, how can we help?
Hi, pleasure speaking with you guys. I listen to you guys all the time, watch all the YouTube videos. I just have a question on, should I be gazelle intense on paying back the more obligation that I have for my mother's Parent Plus loan the same way I'm approaching my personal subsidized and subsidized loans?
Can you be specific with the numbers?
Yeah, so I have $28,000 under my name, which I'm planning on paying off within 18 months.
Okay.
And then there's $57,000 under my mother's name that has so far accrued $10,000 of interest since I've been in school. Well, I'm out of school now, but when I was in school, plus the pause, and then now we are here today, right? So,
what was the agreement when you were taking out these loans? Was the agreement mom said, "Hey, I want to do this for you, and this is my contribution. I'm signing these loans, and I'll pay for them," or was the idea, "Hey, you can't take these out in your name, so I'll take them out in my name, but you need to pay them"?
The latter. Okay. Yeah. So, I was planning on putting $1,500 towards what's under my name. So the $28,000 that's under mine, I was planning on doing $1,500 a month. That's what every dollar has allowed me to see.
Okay, great.
And the $57,000, the minimum payment on that one is $250 after it was a dumb decision, consolidating for the SAFE plan because Parent Plus loans did not automatically qualify for it. So I back in November, when I wasn't in this mindset, I made the decision with my mom to consolidate them so she could qualify for it.
Okay.
So I could pay less per month.
Okay. So, well, you're here now, so now you've got this $250 minimum, which if I were in your shoes, you're working a debt snowball here. So I'm assuming that the student loans are the only thing in your debt snowball. And when you do that, you pay the minimum on everything else except the debt that you're focusing on. And the debt you're focusing on, all the money goes onto it, anything extra that you can find. So yeah, it makes sense. The $28,000, you focus on that one first, put as much of it as you can. You said you'll knock it out in 18 months. That's great. Then to answer your question, you take that same intensity, and then when it's time to focus on the $57,000 debt, you go hard in the paint the same way.
Yeah, I'm on that train 100%. I kind of struggle with the fact that I'm 27 now, and I kind of I see other friends buying houses, getting married and stuff.
Okay.
So
well, they may be broke too.
And even if they're not, hold up. Even if they're not, even if they're doing fine, you made a choice in life.
That's right.
And I teach my kids all the time, when you're responsible for you. So you decided, hey, I'm going to get this education. I'm going to take out these loans. And when you decided that, you simultaneously decided, and I'm going to spend the next however many years of my life after I graduate cleaning it up and paying them back. So you can't compare your life to someone else's life because your choices are different.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I just want to add to that because she crushed it. You could struggle all you want to about it, but it's still your reality. And so instead of grousing about it and grumbling about it and overthinking it, do something about it and get on the other side of this deal.
How long will it take you to pay off the $57,000?
Oh, after my 28, I would say if I'm planning on doing the 28 within 18 months, I would probably do the 57. I don't know, because rent is going to be different within a year or two.
My point is, even if it takes you 3 years, you'll have spent 4 years on this thing, and when you look at your whole life, 4 years is just a little drop in the bucket, bud.
Man, I'm telling
It's going to be worth it for you to knock these out and get them behind you. And my guess is it's going to take less because your income is going to go up.
I agree. So he's 27 now.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a young whippersnapper. You got this. You're going to be fine. You're going to be very wealthy, by the way, if you follow the baby steps like Jay just laid out for you. So good stuff. All right, quick break. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is alongside. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Our scripture of the day comes from Deuteronomy 28, verse 12. The Lord will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And our quote of the day from Thomas Jefferson, I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. Good stuff there. All right, to Toronto, Canada we go. Sahil is with us. How can we help?
Hi, Ken. Hi, Jade. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I purchased the Total Money Makeover book, and I want to say thank you very much for that. It has totally transformed my life and how I handle money. So I want to get intense, and I'm on baby step number 2, and I want to pay off my debt and then get my degree. But the issue is, I checked at nearby stores like Subway, grocery stores, and they said we're not hiring. We already have thousands of resumes. I needed your advice on, should I get a security guard or a forklift license, or should I try, Uber or Instacart? Which one will be more lucrative?
Well, I don't know, and I don't think Jade knows the answer to that because we're not familiar with what those are paying in Toronto. But I would go with the one that pays the most right now because of the reason why we're getting it. Mm-hmm. It's just all about cash here. So it's not about great fit other than if I've got the talent to do it. So, for instance, if the forklift driver, I'm guessing that one pays the most, but do you know?
Yes, I did check with some warehouses, and they said that minimum they pay 20, and with the experience they'll pay even more. And then if I were to pick up weekend shift, and there's extra money,
what's it cost to get the license?
Somewhere between 100 to 300. If I were to learn the most common forklift, the counterbalance, they said it's 100, and if I were to learn all 7, then it's 300.
I kind of, you'd have to compare the numbers because in Toronto, I don't know what people are earning driving Uber.
What did you run the numbers on Uber?
Yes, I did research online, and majority of the reviews are that they don't make even minimum wage. Okay. But if when they drive at night, then they say they make some money, but they still say that wear and tear in the car, it's not worth it. That's what
your answer.
Sahil, that's the easy answer. I'd rather drive someone else's forklift than drive my car and put wear and tear on it, And I think that's a pretty decent skill to have. Seems like you can get overtime as well.
Yes, and that's what I'm hoping for, that I can do evenings and weekends. And I put my study on hold because I really want to pay it off. Mm-hmm. I know that this one will even when I'm in school, because after reading the book, it makes more sense that I want to cash flow the study. I want to pay cash for it.
Come on, man.
I was thinking to get student loan, but not anymore. My mind just, I woke up in the morning and there was a paradigm shift. It just,
that's
I'm
great.
That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sahil, you just gave me...
money.
Jay, you're fired up, aren't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
That's great.
All right.
Yeah, I'm like, even mortgage, like I'm going to save up cash. And even if I have to move away from Toronto, I'm buying in cash, like going for a cheaper house.
Wow.
This guy gets it.
And yeah, that was the reason. Like because the book made me so frugal, I'm even thinking about spending $100. But back in the days, I wouldn't think at all like to spend $100. And that's why I called them. Like, okay, I'm gonna check that I'm making the right decision because I'm careful with every single penny now.
Yeah.
But then I was like, this, yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Listen, choose the one that makes you the most cash because you know what to do with it. We're not worried about you. You got clear focus, so love that. Let's go to Palm Beach, Florida next, where Charles joins us. Charles, how can we help?
Hello. I guess it's a little similar to I currently make around $16 an hour. I'm 20. I don't have any debt. I have a little bit of an emergency fund, but I don't feel like it's enough for what I want to do with my life.
What do you want to do with your life?
I'm not. I want to be more successful. I want to be less reliant on people. I live with my mom. I know that that's not something I should be ashamed of right now. But I don't think there's anywhere for me to go at my company.
Okay.
I'm a barista, and we've talked about management and stuff, but I just don't want to rely on that. And even that wouldn't be making that much.
Okay.
I want to go through a program to become an aircraft mechanic.
Right.
It's about an hour and a half commute, so I don't think I would be able to work through it, or at least not as much as I would want to. So I would have to do a student loan, at least.
Why?
I know.
How much is the aircraft mechanic school? All in.
It's about $50,000, and it's a year and a half. Growing up, my mom's company offered to pay for school, but right when I got around 13, 14, they pulled that. So that's why there was no.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just play this out real quick, okay? So it's going to cost you $50,000 all in, and you said it's an hour and a half commute. Is it a 5-day a week, 4-day a week program? How many hours?
5 days a week.
It's 5 days a week.
I think they said 6 to 8 hours a day.
6 to 8 hours a day. So that's a pretty big all-in deal. But you said you had a little bit of savings. How much do you have in savings?
I have $1,000 for an emergency fund, and in my Roth IRA I have about $10,000.
$10,000.
I can't touch that.
No, we wouldn't want you to. That's not why we do Roth. Okay. And you're living with mom, and you're making, what did you say, $16 an hour?
Just about, yeah.
And you're how old?
I'm 20.
Yeah. I got to tell you, have you just thought about doing the basic math on 50,000 and just say, all right, over the course of a year, could I put away $2,000, $3,000 a month because I'm living with mom and I don't have any responsibilities?
I was thinking about starting early next year, and I would be able to save up, I think maybe 10 by then. But I would need.
No, you keep saying you need loans. No, you don't. You need some patience. Here's why.
Okay.
I'm going to challenge you. You're 19. Okay. If you saved $2,000 a month, okay, for 2 years, that gets you to the 48,000. It gets you $2,000 shy. Okay, come on, man. $2,000 a month. Here's my challenge, Jade. What does Charles need to do to save $2,000 a month? By the time he's 21, he's able to pay cash for the aircraft mechanic
He's
school.
already doing it. He lives at home.
I know. I think it's already there.
It's already there. Tell me, what else do you have to spend money on besides you don't have a car note? You are not paying rent, I'm assuming, unless you're paying mom a little something.
Nope.
But
I pay for the house taxes every year.
The taxes. So how much is that per year?
It's like $3,000.
Oh, it's
okay,
$300
that's
a
nothing.
month.
That's one
Less
paycheck.
than $300 a month.
Yeah. So what I would do in your shoes, Ken is exactly right. You've got, you're before taxes, you're, $2,500 a month. And why can't we work more and make this happen fast? You're doing the barista thing. Are you working 40 hours a week?
Yeah, I try to. The way that the overtime works is they don't want us to touch overtime.
Not overtime. I just want to know, are you working 40 hours a week?
It ends up that it's a little over 35 because of the way they schedule
You
it.
need a new job or 2 jobs or 3 jobs. You're 19, bro. You want to be successful and make money? Go do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Not wait for it.
In your position, I want you with like 2 jobs. I want you with a nice full-time one where you're working 40 hours a week, more than $16 an hour if you can pull it, and then a nice full side hustle on next to that, so that you can stack away this money as quickly as possible. You're in a good position. I love that you're at home with your mom in this situation because it's going to allow you to save up more money, and you have the margin you need to really make this happen. And Ken is right. On a bad day, this takes 2 years.
Yeah.
So on a good day,
I bring home about $2,000 a month.
Yeah, but you're 19 you're missing what she's telling you. You have no expenses. You live with your mom.
This just means you're not going to Sonic. Like you're not going to.
Maybe you're not partying.
Yeah.
Bro.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't do any of that.
Well,
then you have the money.
Then go make more money and save more money, and before you know it, you've saved up the $50,000 to not have debt.
And in the meantime, Ken, what can he do to determine if this is really the path he wants to?
I'd be hanging out with mechanics. Car mechanics, aircraft mechanics. You don't have to drive an hour and a half to hang out with some old bird who's been doing it 40 years. His knuckles are all beat up. Let's find out if we really want to do this, because $50,000 and the time it takes to save that is no joke. So let's figure this thing out. Hang on, I'm going to give you my new book in the assessment, Find the Work You're Wired to Do. This will help as well. Thanks for the call, young man. Please don't do the debt. Jade Warshaw, always awesome to be with you, my friend. Great show. Thanks to James Childs, our fearless leader, and you, America. This is The Ramsey Show.